I'm making a concerted effort to do what I call cutting all my strings. When I think of what an average person needs to live, you need your electric service, you need your gas service, you need your water service, you need your trash pickup, you need your internet, you need to stop at a gas station to put gas in your car, you have to go to a grocery store to get groceries. You need things from other people to survive. And I'm a big city guy. That's where I was, born and raised in mainly big cities. And it occurred to me about 10 years ago, actually quite further than that, is when I enacted the plan to move to a more rural part of the country and start cutting those strings. I want to cut down on the list of things that I need from other people to survive or just to live the way I want to live. So I moved from the city way out into the sticks in one of the least populated, densely populated parts of the country, up north. And I've cut a lot of those strings. A lot. I can provide a lot for myself compared to when I was living in the city. Like, for instance, I don't have to pay a water bill here because I have a well. I'm out in the middle of the country and everybody's on a well. So there's my water. I heat the house that I'm living in with wood. Wood heat and a couple of little electric electric heaters here and there. But through the winter, it's mainly wood, which I take right off this property. So I can take care of myself for heat. That's one more string that I cut. When I finally get my garden in place, that's going to be part of a string as far as my grocery supply. When I can afford to put together my own battery bank to power my home, I'll be able to cut my string to the electric company. It's all about cutting as many strings as I can and becoming as independent as is humanly possible. And I mean down to the molecular level. Like, I'm even quitting drinking coffee. Coffee's been a part of my life, but that's something I have to buy from someone else. It's something I cannot produce for myself. However, what I do like instead of a coffee is a vegetable juice in the morning. I've got a juicer. I've got my formula that I like, and I can actually grow my own vegetables. So that's another string that I can cut. Now, certain strings are more difficult to cut than others. For instance, internet access. There's nothing you can do about that. I have a plan, but in the meantime, that's just one of those things you have to have. It's a modern-day version of telephone service, so can't do anything about that. Fuel, if you're into heating fuel, if you're into that for keeping your house warm, which is why I like the idea of wood. It's self-sufficient, so if you're on heating fuel, that's something you have to buy from someone else. Anything you can produce for yourself, I'm all about that. Short of animals. I don't really want to get into livestock yet, but when the day comes, I'm not going to mind. I think the more independent you can make yourself in that way, when you can feed yourself without having to go to a grocery store, when you can heat your home without having to pay someone, it's just work you have to do. These are the kind of things that give me peace and security. And I think as times get shaky and, we're in a tense time right now and things are getting odd, it might not be a bad time to consider switching your lifestyle and considering maybe a more self-sufficient situation. If things get really out of control, a city is going to be a terrible place to be trapped, I think. And if you can't, at least know someone who lives out in the sticks, someone that you can get out to and say, hey man, I gotta, things are getting a little dicey back there. Can I crash with you for a while? Cutting strings is a beautiful feeling. It's kind of what I am striving for. I want to be completely string-free or as string-free as humanly possible. As I said, certain things can't be replaced, but I think I'm going to document my efforts as I move forward I've already made steps to get here, but from here forward, I'm going to start documenting this and keeping track of all my efforts to get loose of my connection to the grid of society or whatever. I can't think of a better insurance, for my family. At least, if things get dicey, I'll be able to say, hey, just get up here and you'll be safe with us. We're out in the middle of nowhere where the closest neighbor is a mile and a half away, and you know what I mean? We're all alone, and we're, and relatively safe. Not am I saying it's completely safe. That's a beautiful thing about living in an extremely rural, thin area. There's not that many people around. Folks tend to leave each other alone, and there's nothing weird about wanting to be left alone. That's the great thing. If you live in the city and you do not speak to your neighbors, they're going to talk about you. There's something weird about you. But in the country, leave me alone is a very well received concept. Most people are of that attitude of, please leave me the hell alone. I mean, hit me up if you need something. If there's a situation and you need help, of course, by all means, let me know. But other than that, let's just leave each other alone so we can live in peace and quiet, because, nobody moves to the middle of nowhere because they like the hustle and bustle and a big social life, you know what I mean? So, yeah. I'm not even sure I'm going to make it a separate channel. I'm just going to, because it's not going to be that much stuff. But it'll definitely be a thread that I'll be taking. Have a great day.